Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. Well, like I told you in my last video, there was something about me you might notice is a little different. And like you saw in the caption, I am on Wegovy. So before we jump into it, because I do have like some things that might be of interest to you to learn about Wegovy, let's just say this loud and clear. I am not here for anyone's judgment or criticism. As far as I'm concerned, like go ahead and criticize my makeup and how I feel about certain skincare, that's fine. But when it comes to my health, I am just telling you what my experience is. And as far as I'm concerned, anyone who's coming at me with some judgment, well, let's just face it, that's all about you. That's not about me. Seriously, in my 53, almost 54 years on this planet, that's something I've learned. When someone just has nothing but bad to say about someone, it's usually because that's how they're feeling about themselves. And around here, we just want to feel good about ourselves and make those that we love and care about feel good about themselves too. So if you're feeling spicy, go start your own YouTube channel. Woo, I hate starting off negative like that, but sometimes I just want to get things out of the way. Housekeeping. So as of today's filming date, I have been on the Wegovy injectable pen for exactly 10 months. That's right, my first injection date was March 31st, 2023. And I will say, I acknowledge it is a complete privilege to be on this medication. I'm lucky that I have good doctors. I'm lucky that we have decent health insurance. I guess I'm lucky that I met some of the health parameters in order to be on this medication, although I guess the overall goal is to no longer be in those health parameters. So that's why I started this. Well, I don't want to say that I started it. I actually kind of explored it. I wasn't really one of those people who was like, ooh, all of Hollywood is on Ozempic, I want to be on it too. I was one of those people who had been going to the gym religiously 4 to 5 days a week for over 5 years now, and nothing was really changing. And it's really coming down to like the overall condition of my health. I have a thyroid issue. I have an esophagus issue. Of course, you've heard me talk about before. I have the menopause issue. I have layer upon layer upon layer. And even though each different doctor that I see attacks it from their own perspective, nothing was really working. So when I saw my endocrinologist last spring, I was like, I keep hearing about these drugs. Would they apply to me in any sort of way? And we started like looking at my overall health picture, and he was like, you know what? I think I'd like you to try this one drug. We'll see how you do on it, and we will evaluate as we go along. And it's not like I was thrilled that I was getting the chance to be on it, because I'm one of those people who reads like all of the side effects, and I'm always like, nope, 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 nope. But this time I was like, I've been working my ass off for so long, and my ass hadn't gotten any smaller. And honestly, the biggest reason why I've wanted to lose weight and get into like a more healthy, and I don't want to say I'm not healthy because it's weird. I've always had really good blood pressure. All of my blood work is usually great. My cholesterol is great. And on paper, doctors are always like, I don't know why your weight is here, but your actual labs are so great. It just doesn't make sense. So that was one of the things that was always a big struggle too. Like they were like, what are you doing wrong? Like it's been an ongoing struggle for so long. Not to mention the amount of time I spend at the gym. Like I said, I go 5 days a week. I've had a trainer all this time, and I'm lucky because I go to a really affordable gym and the trainers are really affordable. And just a side note, my husband is very supportive of me spending money in this sort of way on my health. We don't spend money on things like takeout, on Uber Eats, on DoorDash, on any of those services. We really don't spend our money in ways that others might just think is like the normal way to spend it. That's not the normal way for us. We've just allocated it more towards our health. And that's just what I want to be. I want to be healthier because the big picture is I have 2 boys in their mid-20s. Someday, God willing, they're going to get married and they're going to give me grandchildren. And I want to be able to play with my grandchildren. I want to be able to get on the floor. I want to be able to take them places. I just want to be able to be an active grandma. And at this point, that's probably at least 10 years down the road, but I don't care. I want my body to be strong. I want to be able to live long. My mom didn't get to see my youngest son graduate from high school, and that still breaks my heart. I want to be around for all these moments for my grandchildren. I know, I'm looking way into the future. That's just how I roll. So for my current health, for my hopefulness for longevity, for just being stronger and being able to live a better life, that's why I considered doing this. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but I actually have lost a significant amount of weight. And I'm a little hesitant to kind of say what the actual number is. Maybe as I get more comfortable as the video goes on, I'll say the number. So I don't know. If I say it, it'll probably be at the end of the video because it's going to take up like some courage building in order for me to be able to do that. And the reason I say that is because I don't know if my weight loss is typical. Plus, I don't want to be triggering for those in the community who may suffer with eating disorders. And it's never been about the number for me. There was one number that it was always about for me was 20 pounds. Getting past a 20-pound weight loss just seemed insurmountable for me. And when I got to that 20 pounds, I was over the moon. I don't think I've ever had a happier day. I mean, yeah, the birth of my children, blah, 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 my marriage, blah, 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 blah. But making that enormous accomplishment was it was so freeing. I felt like it was a feeling that I hadn't had in a long time, if ever. And I thought to myself, okay, I've been able to do this, so let's keep going. And basically, I've just wanted to see how far I could go. Now, I have always had a number in my head of, could I ever lose that much weight in a year? Like that, there was that number, but I never, ever, ever considered that number would be possible. I actually hit that number, and then I entered the like rainbows and unicorns area that I didn't even consider, did not think was a possibility at all. And even though hitting all those milestones was incredible and jubilant and like all of the pretty flowery words that you can think of, what was really amazing for me was like seeing my clothes just get bigger and bigger on me. That was like, that's been all the motivation nonstop. To this point, I've only bought, I think, 3 new pieces of clothing. I bought a blouse and 2 pairs of jeans. Oh, and I bought bras. That was stupid. I bought new bras last summer when I was down past the 20 pounds, but enough that I needed new bras. I spent a lot of money on 5 new bras. They're all too big on me now. So now I have to go out and spend that money again. But I guess it's okay. Now, the first thing that all of you are probably thinking that almost everyone who has said to me when they find out I am taking Wegovy is, well, you're just going to put the weight back on after you go off the medication. And I get where they're coming from, but it also feels a little mean-spirited because honestly, I have other medications that I have to be on for the rest of my life. I have to take a medication for my esophagus so that I don't get the type of cancer my mom had. It's not a big deal. I take 1 pill a day. I have to take hormone replacement because the menopause is a nightmare for me. That's 1 pill a day. And I take vitamin D and resveratrol supplements because it's important for my body's overall health. I take those every day. And yeah, if I went off all of those, there would be significant repercussions to my body. Just like if I go off this, there may be significant repercussions to my body, but I don't know yet. So here I am. I am at the top dose, which is 2.5 milligrams. When you start out, you start at 0.25. I take my injections every Friday. It doesn't matter what time of day you take them. It doesn't matter if you take them with or without food. You just need to take it on the same day every week. And of course, I'm tracking my progress. So every Friday I do weigh myself. I put the number in the notes app in my phone and I just track how much I lose. There have been weeks where I've gained a couple pounds and then the following week I will have lost more than that. So overall, I have lost consistently. But you know me, I had to know how this really worked. So I read both pamphlets in the box that the medication comes in. It comes in this box here. You get 4 of these in here, so it lasts you for a month. And of course, I went to Wegovy's website. I watched the videos on how to do the injections, where to do the injections. I was all over that website because I didn't want to leave a stone unturned. You think I'm crazy about learning everything I can about makeup and skincare that I put on my face? Guess what kind of psycho I am when it comes to what I'm actually putting in my body medication-wise. Yeah, it's no joke. So the first month that I was taking it at the 0.25 dose, I noticed that the day after my injection, sometimes I would feel a little nauseous or my stomach would feel upset. So of course I had to do a deep dive into that, and I found out that taking in water is very important. So when I started drinking, say like 8 to 10 glasses of water the day before, so on Thursday, also on Friday, and then again on Saturday, as long as I had that much water in me, I wasn't having any problem with the nausea. And in my research, I learned also that the weight loss can easily become a loss of muscle mass. And that is not what I wanted to happen at all. Of course, I want to get rid of the fat and keep the muscle. I've been working for years to put muscle on. The last thing I wanted to do was lose any. And actually I started noticing that I was losing it in my ass. And I definitely didn't want to lose it there because you have no idea how hard it is to put on like ass mass. Ass mass. Oh my God. Ass muscle. Basically, protein is the key to that. So even though I've been taking in what seemed like a sufficient amount of protein for the weight training I was doing, I decided to up my levels of protein a little bit because I did not want to have to deal with losing muscle mass. And that has been a huge game changer for me. So I do take in a decent amount of protein daily. Although on the weekends, I might fall off a little bit because I don't go to the gym on the weekends. But the days that I work out, I am absolutely taking in a lot of protein. And protein is filling, so it doesn't always make you want to get in things like your vegetables. You still got to do that. Luckily, I like my veggies. And then, of course, the third component is the exercise. You have to be doing some sort of weight training when you're on one of these weight loss drugs. And when I say exercise, it is specifically weight training. If you don't have cardiac issues, then you really, and if you're menopausal, you really don't need to be doing a lot of cardio. You can actually like scale back on the cardio. And because my heart, knock on wood, has been in a good place, I haven't needed like a lot of cardio. It's been the actual like weight training that has been most beneficial for me. And it's nice to see now that the fluff is going away, actually see muscles on my body. So you've probably heard that this is basically an appetite suppressant. What it does is it slows down like the digestion and the absorption of your food. And so you feel fuller longer. But it also has this other effect that the medical community hasn't really been able to like equate how it works. It actually stops your cravings. And that has been the most monumental part of this for me. And I don't know if you've heard the term recently, food noise. It's like a new term that was coined. And the minute I heard that, it was like a light bulb went off. And I was like, yes, I have had food noise. Here's how it was in my daily life. My husband would come home from work and be like, ugh, I forgot to have lunch today. I'm so hungry, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you don't eat breakfast. How do you forget to have lunch? Literally, the minute I get up in the morning, I'm like, okay, what am I going to eat? Okay, when can I have lunch? What time am I going to have lunch? What am I going to have for lunch? Do I need to go pick up some stuff? And then for dinner, oh, are we going to have this? I like, my mind was always just churning with what am I going to have? When am I going to have it? And because I had a sweet tooth, God forbids, like something showed up on TV or someone said something, all I had to do was say the word peanut butter cookies, and I'm like, peanut butter cookies, peanut butter cookies. Next thing you know, I'm making homemade peanut butter cookies. There was always just this constant ongoing chatter in my brain about food. So when people were like, all you need to do is reduce your calories and exercise more, that didn't work for me. My brain didn't let it work for me. My body didn't let it work for me. Having willpower didn't work for me. I once went 1 month eating only 1,200 calories a day. It was excruciating. And I did it, and I lost about 3 or 4 pounds. It was not sustainable. Like living on that little amount of food when you have food noise in your brain is just not a sustainable way of life. But when I started taking this injection and the food noise disappeared from my brain, the cravings completely disappeared. Not only sugar, but alcohol. I used to love having like a cocktail or a beer a couple times during the week. And of course, if we went out for dinner, I would definitely have like 2 or 3 drinks. Now, I don't think about alcohol at all. If I'm somewhere at a party or if we're out to dinner, I will have 1 drink. I may have 2, but my brain just doesn't care about it anymore. So being able to quiet the noise, having slower digestion so I stay fuller longer, being very intentional about what I eat so I am eating healthy things has just been like, I feel like I was living in a part of the world that no one else was living in. Like everyone else I would see like after Christmas would be like, oh, I overindulged. I'm going to have to be careful in the next couple weeks so I can take these couple pounds off. That never worked for me. I was like, how are these people just like watching what they eat for a couple weeks and the pounds would melt off? That never, ever, ever worked for me. This past Christmas, I had a few more cookies than I should have. What did I do? I watched what I ate for the next couple weeks and the pounds came off again. I didn't put any weight on during the Christmas and New Year's time, but I didn't lose any. So when I was just a little more intentional about what I was eating and not eating in the next couple weeks, then I started losing weight again. It's like I got to be like everybody else. So I feel like between my like broken brain, my menopause, and my thyroid, I was never, ever, ever gonna get past the hump without this. Now, do I fear going off it? A little bit. Now, I do feel that my weight is starting to stabilize. I've been the same weight for 2 weeks now. We'll see what happens when I weigh in a couple days and then again next week. Because if I am stabilized, then when I go to see my endocrinologist, I actually see him in like 2.5 weeks, then I think we'll discuss taking my dosages back. So this comes in 5 different dosages. I'm currently at the 2.5. I think we will probably roll it back to the 1.7. We're going to want to find a maintenance dose, and then at some point I might try weaning myself off and seeing if I can go on living without needing this once a week injectable. But if the pounds start to come back on, then I'm going to go back on it, because overall I feel great. I don't think I look my absolute best. Like, I've started to get these neck bands here. I don't love that. I think my face is showing its age a little more. I don't love that. But because my daily workouts are actually reaping me some physical rewards, I want to be able to stay in this zone. I just want to keep myself fit, healthy, and strong. Now, as far as side effects go, I really haven't had any bad side effects except for one day. I think it was probably in the first month or 2 that I was, doing the injections. We went out to dinner and I just ordered like I normally would have ordered: an appetizer, an entree. I had 2 drinks, and I think my husband and I split a dessert. By the time I got in the car, I did not feel well. I felt like I had eaten way too much food, and all night long, because the digestion is slower, all night long, I could just feel the food slowly like moving through me. It wasn't until the next morning when I was able to release the food that I felt so much better. So I was like, light bulb, you cannot eat like that anymore. So when we go out to dinner, I order like 2 appetizers or a salad and an appetizer, and that's it. I'm full, I'm good. Another side effect that I think I'm having that I don't want to say I'm gonna completely blame on the Wegovy is I think I've been having thinning hair. Now today my hair looks flatter and thinner than normal because I'm trying out a new texture spray and I don't like it. I don't think it's doing a good job whatsoever. So this is part texture spray issues and part my hair is thinning, and that could be because of the menopause. It could be because of my thyroid. It could be because of the weight loss. Who knows? Or it could be because of all 3. I did order some like hair and skin supplements. I'm going to try those for 2 weeks. I'll report back and give you a full report on those in about 2.5 months. But in the meantime, luckily I had a lot of hair to begin with. Now, I'm not here recommending that anyone who is struggling with their weight try and get this. I'm not saying it's right for everyone. I'm saying if you're curious about it, have a conversation with one or more of your doctors. I actually talked to both my endocrinologist and my gastroenterologist about it. I wanted like a full picture of how it would affect multiple parts of my body, and both of them felt that the state I was in and the state of my labs, that I was probably going to be a good candidate for the Wegovy. Now, I know it sucks that for a lot of people this is not available through their insurance, or if they can get it, it's very high copays. Luckily mine is a very reasonable copay. However, I am also very aware that things can change in an instant. My husband could lose his job and we lose our insurance. Boom, I'd be off it. Something could change with my health. Boom, I'd be off it. There's a myriad of possibilities why this journey could end for me, and I'm well aware of that. So I am trying to take the steps that in case that were to happen, I would hopefully be in a good place, but who knows? But I am absolutely grateful that my doctors did think I was a good candidate and that I am responding to it well. All right, so even though, like I said at the beginning, not a fan of the outside being judgmental about people's medical issues, I'm feeling comfortable with whoever has made it to this far in the video. So I am going to tell you that as of today, I have lost 62 pounds. To me, that is absolutely mind-blowing. I could have never fathomed that this would be possible for me. And I'm not saying that this is normal for everyone who's on this medication. I'm just saying that through what I'm doing, this is where I got 62 pounds. It's just... All right, so I think I've given you a pretty detailed overview of what my experience has been. But of course, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I will be happy to address them. And if some of them get really specific, then maybe I'll do a part 2 on them at some point. And of course, if I have to go off this for some reason, I will definitely do a part 2 updating what my experience is at that point. But right now, fingers crossed, let's hope I can like scale back my doses and maybe wean off. But if I gotta be on it for life, I gotta be on it for life. And for those of you who are new to my channel who found this video because you were searching about Wegovy, my name's Jennifer and I'm normally into all things hair, skin, and makeup. If that sounds like something you might also be interested in, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button and ring the bell. I upload once a week on Fridays, but YouTube, she's not great about telling people when I upload, so ring that bell. All right, you guys, I want to thank you so much for being with me, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.